Imagine playing hide and seek, but with $10,000 on the line. If you manage to stay hidden for just 1 hour, you win the money. In this video, 6 elite players are hiding inside this abandoned courthouse. The rules are simple. Each player gets 3 full days to study the building and build their hiding spot. Then, on the final day, they all hide at the same time. After the hunter enters the building, whoever stays hidden for 1 full hour wins the cash. Some players made absolute 200 IQ decisions, while others basically begged to get found. So let's break down each hiding spot. Alex found this room with a huge cabinet, but what he actually built is one of the smartest illusions in the entire game. Originally, this cabinet had 2 compartments, one at the bottom and another at the very top, right under the original ceiling. So Alex did something insane. He actually lowered the entire ceiling of the room by about 3 feet, creating a new ceiling line below the cabinet. Once the ceiling was lowered, the original upper compartment became completely invisible, hidden above the new ceiling. From the hunter's perspective, the cabinet now looks like it has only 1 compartment. Nothing seems modified, but Alex isn't hiding in the visible section. He crawls into the original upper compartment, sitting completely above the fake ceiling, inside a space the hunter doesn't even know exists. The whole point of this hiding spot was that even if the hunter entered the room and inspected everything, he wouldn't notice a single thing, and he'd just walk away. But will this genius trick be enough to fool the hunter once the search begins? Sam decides to be lazy and not build any hiding spot at all. Instead, he chooses to hide right above the main entrance of the building, literally under the hunter's nose. According to the rules, this upper platform is connected to the main structure, so it is a legal place to hide. He brings nothing except a small mat to lie on. He climbs up into the hiding spot and he simply slides the access panel back into place. His whole idea was that the hunter would never even think to look up there and would just walk straight into the building without checking anything. This spot is actually perfect, but it has one small downside, which we'll examine a little later. Max gets a genius idea. He noticed in previous episodes that the production team always sets up a control room somewhere inside the building and the hunter never goes in there. So Max decides to build his own fake production room. He brings fake staff, fake equipment, and he recreates the entire space to look exactly like a real production area with TV cameras, food, and all kinds of props. Max himself chooses to hide under a table in the back of the room. The table wasn't covered by anything from behind, but his whole idea was simple. If the hunter walks by and sees a production room, he won't enter at all. He'll just keep moving without checking the room. This is a brilliant plan, but Max overlooked one small mistake. Jack discovers a room full of decorative elements, the ceiling, the chandelier, and several objects with gold accents. While exploring, he notices a small door that leads into an abandoned cabinet, and he decides this will be his hiding spot. But before hiding, he brings in a renovation team to disguise the entire area. Using the ceiling and gold decorations as reference, Jack and the team repaint the walls to match the exact same color and add the same gold details so everything blends perfectly. Then they hide the door behind a decorative gold panel shaped like a square, and from a distance, it looks flawless. But there's one small problem. They rushed a little, and the gold square covering the door doesn't line up perfectly with the other squares on the wall. If the hunter pays close attention, he might notice the slight misalignment, and that could expose Jack's hiding spot immediately. Chris discovers a waiting room filled with a bunch of chairs. While exploring, he notices a small door that leads into another area with 3 connected rooms. He immediately decides this will be his hiding spot. To disguise the entrance, he covers the entire door with drywall, leaving a small hole at the bottom just big enough for him to crawl through. After that, he moves several chairs right in front of the wall to hide any sign that someone could be hiding there. And his logic is actually genius. Even if the hunter somehow discovers the hidden door, he won't be able to crawl through the hole because of his size. All Chris has to do is slip inside, cover the hole from behind, lower the seat of a chair, and just stay quiet. But even though the idea is brilliant, he made one small mistake, which we're going to talk about later. Tony is by far the most ingenious and hardworking player. He decides to spend a huge amount of time building an entire custom staircase right at the entrance of the courtyard, and he plans to hide inside the staircase itself. Tony had noticed in previous episodes that the hunter always knocks on walls and objects to check if anything sounds hollow, so he takes that into consideration. He builds the staircase out of marble and adds soundproof insulation inside. His whole idea was simple but smart. Even if the hunter knocks on the steps, he won't hear anything suspicious because the wall of the staircase is thick and solid and gives no hollow sound at all. Tony believed that if everything sounded normal, the hunter would just move on and never suspect a thing. But the real question is, will the hunter be skilled enough to find all the players? Let's find out. The hunter starts the timer and begins the search. But as he gets close to the entrance, Sam already has his first problem. The spot where Sam is hiding has all these decorative metal patterns with holes and openings in the design. And that means whenever light hits it from the outside, you can see straight through into the hiding spot. And because it's nighttime, every time a car passes, its headlights shine directly into Sam's hiding space through those decorative openings. And there's a very real chance the hunter could just look up for a second and spot Sam instantly. The hunter walks up to the entrance. Sam is literally 3 feet above him, completely frozen, but the hunter doesn't even think about checking that place, and he walks straight inside the building, which gives Sam a huge relief, because once the hunter enters the building, there's a very high chance he won't come back out to inspect the entrance again. The hunter starts examining the room and begins knocking on the walls and objects. He does this because he's checking for hollow spaces, since he knows the players might build entire fake structures to hide inside. He also inspects every statue carefully, because in a previous episode, someone actually hid inside a statue. Meanwhile, Tony is hiding directly beneath him, frozen in complete silence. But Tony is already facing his first real problem. The space inside the staircase has very little air, and it's getting harder and harder for him to breathe. The hunter doesn't notice anything strange, and Tony's plan is still working perfectly. But right before leaving the room, the hunter notices something weird on the floor. Tony is one step from being discovered, but it seems there's nothing suspicious after all, and he continues examining the rest of the building. After checking a bunch of rooms and possible hiding spots, the hunter approaches the hallway where Chris is hiding. He looks around carefully but doesn't notice anything, so he keeps moving forward. And this is where he reaches the room with the fake production team, the room where Max is hiding. The hunter walks inside and he doesn't even realize the team is fake, and he actually apologizes for entering the room. But still, he doesn't leave. He decides to examine the place anyway. Max's hiding spot is honestly the weakest in the entire competition, because he's just hiding under a table with no cover at all, and he can be spotted instantly if the hunter looks beneath it. After the hunter talks with the team for a moment, his eyes lock onto a couch that is exactly the size of a human body. He immediately suspects someone might be hiding inside it and decides to open it, but finds nothing. He continues searching the room. Max now realizes that his plan might not have worked, and he is close to being found. Eventually, the hunter decides to inspect the table Max is hiding under. Max is one step away from being caught. The hunter immediately starts laughing at how simple Max's hiding spot is. But the whole reason Max built this room was so that once the hunter saw a production team inside, he would close the door and leave. And here's the mistake Max overlooked. The hunter knew that the real production team always places a "Do Not Enter" sign in front of their door, and the only reason he opened this door was because there was no sign placed outside. That tiny detail ended Max's chance of winning. After examining a few more rooms, the hunter enters the area with the decorative elements, the room where Jack is hiding. He starts checking the walls, but immediately, something catches his eye. A fireplace structure sealed with concrete. The moment he sees the entrance sealed with concrete, he instantly thinks someone might be hiding inside. He tries to open it, but he can't get in, so he decides to keep searching the room. The hunter is just one step away from finding Jack, when he suddenly notices another identical fireplace on the other side of the room, but this one is not sealed. It's completely open, so he bends down to look inside and sees that there's actually enough space for a person to fit, and that convinces him that in the first fireplace for sure must be hiding someone inside. Letting himself be fooled by the fireplaces, the hunter moves on, deciding he will come back later to inspect the room more carefully. He continues searching the building. 38 minutes remain. The hunter returns to the hallway where Chris is hiding. He starts knocking on the walls again, and suddenly he hears a very distinct hollow sound. He immediately realizes the wall is fake, and he becomes convinced someone is hiding behind it. His eyes fall on the chairs placed in front of the wall, so he kneels down to look more closely and finds the entrance to Chris's hiding spot. Even though Chris thought the hunter wouldn't be able to fit through the small opening, the hunter manages to squeeze inside, and within seconds, Chris is caught. Chris's mistake was simple but fatal. He built the wall out of drywall, and drywall sounds hollow when you knock on it. If he had built it with bricks or any solid material, the hunter never would have noticed the hiding spot and would have walked right past it. But that small mistake cost him the win. There are 4 players left. The hunter keeps searching and enters the room where Alex is hiding. The cabinet immediately catches his eye, and he examines it carefully, but finds nothing suspicious and continues the search. Alex was inches away from being discovered, but there are still 30 minutes left on the timer. The hunter decides to restart from the beginning of the building and search everything again. He returns to the room where Jack is hiding, still finding no clues about Tony's or Sam's hiding spots. And once again, he focuses on the sealed fireplace, absolutely convinced someone must be inside it. But the hunter still can't find an entrance to the sealed fireplace, and now he's getting frustrated because he hasn't found anyone new in a long time, and he's running out of time. He has only 20 minutes left to find the remaining 4 players, and then he decides to do something absolutely insane. He walks into the waiting room where the players he already caught are sitting and makes them a shocking offer. For $5,000, he asks them to tell him where one of the remaining players is hiding, on the condition that the player will never know who betrayed him. Blinded by the money, the captured players accept the offer and decide to reveal Alex's hiding spot. They all walk together toward Alex's room. The hunter pretends he's simply rechecking it for the second time, while Alex sits inside his hiding spot in complete fear and uncertainty, thinking his time is up. But then, the hunter has a change of heart. He realizes this whole thing is actually terribly unfair and decides to leave Alex alone. Even though he made a deal for $5,000, he thinks betraying a player like that is too dirty, and he refuses to do it. But this moment revealed something important. Alex's own teammates were willing to betray him instantly for money. The hunter continues searching, and while stopping to think about what options he still has, he suddenly remembers something important. This entire building was constructed in an old architectural style, so anything newly built would immediately stand out. He heads back toward the entrance of the room, which puts Tony in serious danger of being discovered because the staircase Tony built doesn't match the building's original style at all. When the hunter looks down at the staircase, he notices that the floor is new, and the last 3 staircases are way more dirty compared to the other ones. Tony is seconds away from being found. After checking the floor more closely, the hunter hears a faint hollow sound. Even though Tony built the staircase using thick marble and added soundproof insulation, it still wasn't enough to hide the difference. The hunter follows the sound and finds Tony's hidden entrance. With only 8 minutes left on the clock, he discovers Tony. Tony's hiding spot was absolutely incredible, but the mistake he made was that the floor he built didn't match the old steps around it. It stood out immediately, especially after the hunter reminded himself to look specifically for new constructions. With 8 minutes left, the hunter decides to check the entrance one more time, thinking he might have missed something the first time. Sam is seconds away from being discovered, but suddenly, Tony calls out to the hunter and distracts him from Sam's hiding spot entirely. Time is running out. The hunter already knows where Alex is, but he decides to leave him alone because the first time he checked the cabinet, he found absolutely nothing suspicious. So he runs back again to the room with the golden decorations, 100% convinced that someone must be hiding inside that cursed fireplace. But the timer hits 0 and now goes to see where everyone was actually hiding. And that's when he notices the wall that he never even checked. With a gentle push, Jack's hiding spot opens instantly, and the hunter is shocked at how simple it was. Jack's hideout was actually weak, considering that the hunter had been knocking on walls the whole episode to check for hollow sounds. He even inspected half of that room's walls, but when he was supposed to check the second half, he got completely distracted by the fireplace in the corner. Now, he moves towards Sam's hiding spot and remembers that Tony distracted him earlier. Sam's hiding spot isn't amazing, but once the hunter walks inside the building, there's a very small chance he ever comes back out to inspect the entrance again, and that saved him. And now, it's time for the best hiding spot of the entire episode. The hunter checks Alex's hiding place and is astonished to see that Alex built a custom ceiling to completely cover the upper compartment of the cabinet. It was a perfect illusion. You would never imagine there's a top section. Even if you knock on the walls of the cabinet, the sound is exactly the same as a solid wood. There was simply no way to detect him. If you want this to become a full series, drop a comment below.